level.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Para. I am editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. We are taking center stage today with a couple of our amazing contributing writers. I am so excited to be taking center stage with them on the Own It Publishing platform. Let me go ahead and bring them on in. Hey, Lady Cleopatra, how are you? Oh my goodness, excited to see you.
I'm so grateful.
Hey, Bodhi, what's going on, Mr.
Hi.
Chobotiuk. Look, I love just trying to say your last name because I now am successful at saying it, Bodhi. So welcome.
Perfect.
So excited to see you all today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine podcast, as well as thank you so much for just being a contributor of the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine and just sharing your brilliance. So let's just go ahead. We're going to take a moment to just let us know who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about what you do. So we're going to go ahead and start with you, Lady Cleopatra.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be a part of such an amazing platform, #1 digital magazine. So I have many hats, but what's near and dear to my heart is my coaching business, Celebration, where I remind you to celebrate you every day, because a lot of us forget how valuable we are and that we're destined for greatness. Also, I create custom eyewear, so I can bling out your sunglasses, your glasses. I also do accessories. And my last business is a nonprofit called Kind Humans Uplift Humankind. And I am dedicating that to just helping people who are bullied in schools, in the workplace, at home, and just uplifting their vibration and letting them know that they have the possibility of going beyond any limitation that is ever told to them or they ever felt. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you so much. Welcome. All right, Mr. Bodhi, welcome. Please introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, and a little bit about what you do.
Hey, thanks so much. And I really appreciate you being here as well, too. I have met some of the most incredible people through Phoenix Fitness Magazine and just yourself personally. We've got them a part of our tribe and our community as well now, too. And it's just really nice to be able to bring everything together, because one thing I learned is, you don't heal in isolation, you heal in community. And, the community just keeps getting, growing and growing. A little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Canada, in Calgary, Alberta. And I've now migrated. Actually, it was 2 years ago yesterday. I made a move to Mexico. I was in the Playa del Carmen and Cozumel area. And this is my first time in Puerto Vallarta, up there in the mountains in the jungle. So that's where I am right now, building community out here. So I run a couple platforms and community building platforms where we basically offer every health, wellness, healing, holistic, and fitness service and or product at an exclusive discounted rate, all in one place. And it's just a really beautiful, safe place for people to be able to come to allow themselves to become the healthiest, healed, and fittest versions of themselves.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, and both welcome. So I am so excited to just have you all just as part of the platform, and to be sharing in your platforms as well, to have some of your products. Lady Cleopatra, I've got a couple of your glasses that I sport and just love it, and looking forward to having more. So let's dive in, you guys. So let's talk a little bit about this entrepreneurial journey that you have been on, because it definitely does take a special type of person to, walk this type of journey. So what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned on this entrepreneurial journey so far? Go ahead, Lady Cleopatra.
Okay, so I jotted down some notes, but honestly, just remembering to not limit yourself. I used to tell myself, you're this age, you're in this point of your life, you're not allowed to dream anymore. But why not? Who said so? So just taking those shackles off of our mind, off of our perception of what we think we should and should not be doing, and just live from a place of creativity, a place of community and togetherness. And I feel like we can do anything. Never giving up. Things get hard, it gets treacherous, but those are our moments to really connect with our source and our creator and ask him, lead me, where you want me to go. Sometimes, even if we have a good answer, that may not be the right answer for us at that moment. So knowing how to surrender and humble and not be in our ego that is selfish, but be in an ego of how can I humble myself and help others, and also adapting gracefully. You have challenges that you can foresee and some that you cannot. So you can't always know the right way to go. But if you are silent and you are open to signs and wonders and listening to your intuition and your gut feeling, you can make sound decisions that will elevate you and those around you. So that's what I've learned.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Lady Cleopatra. What about you, Bodhi?
Can you repeat the question for me so I make sure that I don't go off track, because I can do that sometimes with the ADD.
Of course, no worries. So, what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned on this entrepreneurial journey so far?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones was how to learn how to pivot and not panic. Um, because of the way that so many things are changing, with this world here, especially with digital now, AI coming out, and people panicking, during like the pandemic. People were, oh my God, I'm losing my job. What am I going to do? And I wasn't stressed about it. It was more of a pivot. Don't panic. Let's go with the times. We've got social media at our disposal. There's so many free different parts. Now with AI coming out, there's a lot of people worried about, especially I talk to a lot of healers and a lot of coaches or whatever, because this AI is so smart that it can talk to you like an actual human. Right. But that means people are like, well, it's going to take over my coaching business. Well, there's a way for yourself to adapt to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that you just got to pivot. Right. So, but once you set that panic in, you just lose all sense of direction, is what I found. So, I mean, that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned in entrepreneurship.
Wow. Great lessons. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the inspiration behind bringing you into this journey, because again, it's not for everyone. It's not for the faint at heart, really, for sure. And just kind of like how you got to this point. So we'll be right back.
I'm not ready for you.
And we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. And we have today our contributing writers, Lady Cleopatra and Bodhi Chobotiuk. I love it. I love it. It's like I can say it again. I'm sorry, y'all. It took me a minute to be able to learn that one. So I have to celebrate it every time. So I am just so excited. We're talking about their entrepreneurial journey and how they got here. So let's talk about the greatest inspiration, because again, this journey is really can be a tough journey sometimes. And a lot of people tend to want to stay in that comfort zone. You know, I was in corporate for many, many, many years. Loved staying in corporate, but abruptly got taken out of corporate and went into a different, side of things. But what was the inspiration that brought you to wanting to be an entrepreneur? So, Lady Cleopatra.
Yes. So, I got tired of not experiencing life. All I did was work. I was a workaholic, and I didn't see daylight. Like I saw, I was out before the sun was up, and I didn't come home until the sun was down, and I just felt like something was missing. And personally, it's just been being a mom, wanting to set the best example for my daughter and loving myself. I was so against that for so many years. I couldn't understand the value of why does it matter? If I'm kind to others, why does it matter? And I am learning that when you love yourself, you make better choices. You make better decisions. You have better energy. You attract better life experiences. You matter. Your energy matters. And if you don't pour into you, I promise you, people won't pour into you either. And when they say you show people how to love you based on what you accept, that is a real fact of, you know um pouring into yourself while also pouring into others at the same time.
Yes, yes. Ooh, I love that. Thank you so much. All right, Bodhi, what about you? So, what has been your greatest inspiration in just getting into walking this entrepreneurial journey? Because again, it can be a tough one. So, and a lot of people want to stay in that comfort zone.
Well, I have to say the first inspiration that brought me into entrepreneurship was my dad. I remember skipping school and sitting on the steps, at the house and listening to talk to people on the phone, and I loved it. Like he was so charismatic and being able to talk to people, and he always got to take people for lunch. And he'd take them skiing or golfing, and it just seemed like it was something that I'd love to do because I love talking to people. I'm such an extrovert, and so that was my inspiration. And I was in corporate my entire life too, and I love the interaction of always meeting new people, driving around, different areas of the country, doing stuff like that. And then I got tired. Then I was like, what? Like I have ADD. I have ADD. I have to have 100 moving parts in order to stay focused. And I've learned how to make ADD work for me and not against me. And it
Okay.
was time for a change, And so it's, I was really grateful for the pandemic in a way of that. That it allowed me to do a self-evaluation to find out where I really should be. Because I did really well at corporate, but I just started feeling like that brand new kid at a brand new school. Like who do I want to hang around with, and all that, and I didn't want to be there anymore. I started doing a self-evaluation, and started talking to people that I didn't believe in, which was healers and coaches, because of something that very traumatic happened to me.
Mhm.
um, and it switched my gears into being inspired to getting into people pleasing the proper way, right? Because I was raised poorly by my mother, and I was the wrong kind of people pleaser, and then I now am a people pleaser the proper way. And
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was my inspiration was first my dad, and God thank him for putting me into this, because I wouldn't be where I am today, being able to run a health, wellness, healing, and
Right.
holistic business if I didn't have I guess his education of me skipping school and sitting on the steps and listening to him.
I love it. So, being an entrepreneur, it's a juggle. And Lady Cleopatra, I know you're a mom as well, and you're also a caregiver. So, what are some of the things that you can maybe share with the audience on how to balance it all when it comes to, you're also a student, you're in school, you're working on degrees and things like that as well, elevating there. So having so much going on, how do you find that balance, and how do you find that self-care? What does that look like for you?
That's a great question. In addition to just giving myself grace, just listening to my body, sometimes my heart is like, oh, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And my body's like, no, we're not. We're going to lay down. We're going to take a nap. We're going to enjoy that nap because we deserve that nap because we love ourselves. So just listening to my body, if I eat something that, wasn't sitting right and, maybe made me cranky, or just being more aware of what my environment is telling me, being gentle with myself, making sure I schedule that self-time, self-care time for myself, whether that's taking a nap or going outside. But yeah, just being patient and gentle with myself and prioritizing. You can't do everything,
Right.
even if you want to. Some things are going to have to be, delayed until tomorrow or next month or next year. And that's okay. That doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't mean you're giving up. Just like Bodhi eloquently said, pivot. Pivot, don't panic. If I start stressing, I'm going to take a nap. If I start stressing, I'm a pull out Monopoly and start playing with my daughter, and just remember to have fun, because I stopped doing that for so long. So just don't be too serious. Don't take, things to the heart, to where you can't celebrate life even when things aren't flowing the way you want them to.
Like, listening to the heart is so important, because it's going to let you know when you are on that wrong path. There's so many things that if you're not focused on that heart, if you're not focused on finding that balance, it's going to affect you, and it's going to affect you in a negative way. So I love that you take that time, you take that nap. I mean, that's so hard. That's so hard for even for myself. It's so hard for me to take a nap. I'll usually just lay there and just kind of stare off, but even that's okay. Throwing on some music, some soft music, and just giving yourself a moment to breathe. I think that is just everything. So thank you so much, Lady Cleopatra. So Bodhi, so the same question. So, again, you're an entrepreneur and you're a leader as well. You've got all these different, moving parts in your network and your community and in building and doing what you do. So what does self-care look like for you? How do you find that balance in it all?
You know what? Music is my number one go-to. Like, music is my thing. Like, I love my jazz and blues. I love my classic rock. Led Zeppelin is my favorite band in the world. I got a tattoo of them here somewhere, right there. You know, but I have to have music going at all times, and it all depends on my mood. And if it's a rainy, gloomy day, I produce and I work 10 times better when I'm listening to jazz music, old jazz, Ella Fitzgerald and
Yeah.
Miles Davis, stuff like that. When I listen to that old stuff, but if it's a hot summer day like this, I'm more of the oos, oos, oos guy, right? And that gets me going. But for my relaxing time and the time where I can allow my thoughts to become things is I'm an avid fly fisherman. So I spend a lot of time in the mountains of Canada and glacier rivers, standing there waist deep. I find that's where it washes my soul, where it rejuvenates me. And it just takes away everything from your body, like any impurities. And that water never stops. It just keeps going and going. It'll never end. So, I mean, when it washes your soul, it's washing everything and taking it so far away, it'll never come back. Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I allow my thoughts to become things. So that's where I always make sure I find time to get out into nature. And I don't even care about catching fish anymore. I've been doing it for so long. It's just, just getting out there and doing it. But that's what I do to keep my sanity, with entrepreneurship, because man, I'm telling you, that's the reason I started my company is, I've, I've seen it over and over. We're working 12, 14-hour days and neglecting our nutrition, our health, our exercise, our spirituality, and all that kind of stuff, and not making time for it. So it's a
Yep.
must that you find something that you can take your time to kind of rejuvenate, come back to yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Self is first. I think I had posted something on social media very just recently about, taking time for yourself, because that's not selfish. It really isn't. It's selfless, because you have to be able to pour into yourself and take that time to, do what you do, and ground and get out there in that water and let that, I'm a tree hugger. I say it all the time. I love getting out there and sitting on different, above ground tree systems, the root systems and things, and climbing up in trees and hugging trees and things, because it definitely does rejuvenate you just to be out and be able to just take that time. So I thank you guys so much.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut to another quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges that maybe you've had during this entrepreneurial journey. So we'll be right back. Like, talking about music, I tell you, that was Upscale Online Biz Solutions. They got that smooth music going on there. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. And we have two of our amazing contributing writers, Lady Cleopatra Davidson and Bodhi Chobotiuk. And they are here talking about the entrepreneurial journey that they have been on, and just being able to build, grow, and just flow as they're going through it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges that maybe you've had, because this can be a journey full of challenges. So, Lady Cleopatra, what has been the biggest challenge that you feel you have encountered so far in your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, great question. So just like you both shared, I was in the corporate industry for 20 years, and coming out of high school, I thought that was the only way you could go in life. I thought being spiritual wasn't even a thought, but just even being artistic, like that's only allowed as a pastime, not as a career. And so, of course, I limited myself by thinking that way. So now my biggest challenge is just finding the balance between being an entrepreneur and whether or not to go to work for someone. When I decided to leave corporate, it was the best thing for me. And I've been doing the entrepreneur thing without working for someone for about 5 years now. But I'm at a point where I know that I need to humble myself and work for someone, not only for like the tax purposes, but just for more financial stability, because I am in the beginning stages of my businesses. And so just realizing that just because you do have to work for someone while you're being an entrepreneur does not degrade you doesn't lessen your purpose. It just means that you need that stepping stone to get you to where you need to be. And so that's where I'm at right now.
I love that. I love that. And honestly, I think every entrepreneur has gone through that, where they sometimes have to take a step back and find an investor for their business, because that's really what, I mean, we won't even call them an employer. They're an investor. If you look at it that way, it just really helps you to continue to push. And like you said, you kind of humble yourself, getting back into that. But when you say, okay, this is an investor coming in to help me get to that next level. Once I get to that certain point, then, me and that investor, we don't have to work. We can sever ties, right? They've invested enough. So I love that. And as you know, I mean, I even myself as an entrepreneur, I go in and out of, those W-2 relationships with people because of, this is the way the tax system is and everything else. It is definitely a way to go. So I love that you brought that up. Bodhi, so what has been the biggest challenge that you have encountered so far in this entrepreneurial journey?
I'm gonna have to say social media.
Yeah.
Not that it's been hard for me, but I find social media was out there for us to connect. And built out there. And it has done some of that, but I find it's been more disconnecting than connecting. People being on their phones and being in these groups, and I found this is my own thing, and I find that social media has given people a new addiction, not just to social media, but to what I call hopium. Not opium, but hopium, where I hope this platform works. I hope that my Facebook post gets some likes. I hope that somebody connects with me through my post. I hope that I make a sale. And that's not how things work anymore. Social media is not a platform for that, people join platforms all the time, such as mine, right? Like, how I hope this platform works, but they don't put in the effort or utilize the services that we give them, and then people will come back to me like, well, it's not really working for me. You haven't used anything yet, so I find that there's so many options out there that it's overwhelming, and social media is overwhelming, and people get in that perception that it's all about that it'll bring you business. So my frustration, I guess, and challenge is to try to teach people how to get back on the track, because I come from the corporate world and I was an account manager, executive sales, all that kind of stuff. And I had to drive around and I had to go in and do my paperwork. And if I didn't do any of that stuff, I didn't get the sale.
Right.
Well, I didn't have that option to go to social media and just post something on there and get a sale, and then that was it. That's not how things work. There's steps that you still gotta follow. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of my biggest challenges in entrepreneurship, and even myself, I do it. I'm a victim too, right? Like, I mean, I go onto social media and I hope everybody likes my posts, and I get business from any connections, but yeah, it's frustrating for me, very frustrating.
Yeah. And I think, what, I think it's all about the relationship building, right? But that's the piece that people are missing. They're really just, as you said, hoping to get that visibility that they, feel that they, deserve on that post or on that thing that they're putting out there, but they have not yet created those relationships behind them that they need to be able to support them. So I love that you brought that up, because again, people, it's all about the relationships, and it's going to take a while to build those relationships sometimes. But once you build those,
it was like that movie Field of Dreams, and it used to be so true, but it's not anymore. Like, if you build it, they will come. And it's and I'm finding that that's slowly going away, right? Like, you can build a platform and they'll come to it, but then they just stand there, look around, you know what I mean? And that's it, like, you got to play the game, right? Like when they Field of Dreams and they said, you build it, they will come. They came and they played the game. They played baseball. You know what I mean? And they played hard. But this
Yeah.
day and age, and I'm not saying you or people, whatever, but I see a lot of people, people build these places, they come, but then they just stand there.
Yeah.
And that's when they start smoking opium.
Right. Again, it's all about the relationship building. So they can't just stand
you gotta
there.
build it. You gotta build
Gotta
community.
say, hey man, hey girl, hey sis, hey bro, like come over here, let's have a talk.
Well, this day and age, you will never build business. I can tell you right now, if you do not work with a platform or work with people that understand that you have to build community in order, to get the visibility and to build your connections. It's the number one way of doing it. I have a social media group that I got like 3,000 people in right away. And I just removed, I think, 1,200 of them because I made it a rule that if you don't book a meeting with me, you're not allowed in my Facebook group. Bottom line, I'm not going to sell to you, but I want to build your community and I want to build mine. So now my community is built substantially just from doing that. Nobody else is doing that on Facebook. I'm sure they'll start trending out, but yeah, you have to build the community, right? And the connections.
That's right. Love that. So let's go ahead. Look, whenever we get on here, I tell you, the time goes like that. So I would love to we've shared a little bit about what you all do and just a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey as well. Please let everyone know how they can connect with you, learn a little bit more about you. Lady Cleopatra, please share how everyone can connect with you and if they'd like to work with you.
Yes. So for the eyewear, I'm at Blinked Out by Lala. And I'm on Facebook, TikTok, X, and IG. And then for the coaching side, my email is today.celebrateyou@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And Bodhi, please go ahead and let everyone know if they would like to work with you and connect in your community, how they can do that as well.
Sure. So if anybody, and this is for anybody in the world, they want to be the healthiest, healed, and fittest version of themselves and have their business show up the same way as them, you can visit entrepreneurfit.net. Entrepreneur, so many people have a hard time spelling it. It took me months and months to be able to spell entrepreneur, but it's entrepreneurfit.net. You can get your free subscription there, or you can work with us and, be a part of our community. It's extremely, extremely inexpensive. But we are international and we're connecting people and showing people, and having people collaborate all around the world that are all in the health, wellness, healing, holistic, and fitness space in there. It's a very beautiful community. So entrepreneurfit.net would be the best way for us to connect.
Awesome. Well, I want to just thank you for just joining us today, sharing a little bit of your brilliance with the world. And everyone, please connect with both Lady Cleopatra Davidson as well as Bodhi on their platforms. They can definitely help you learn how to find that balance that you need and learn how to really elevate that mind, body, and spirit, because that is what we do here with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics. So love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will definitely see you next time. All right, take care.
Okay, bye now.
To the next level.